I'm working on a mix for a really cool band called Precursor from, I think, Vancouver. It's definitely Canada. Sorry if it's not Vancouver. We're up against these guitars right now, and there's something about, maybe I'll grab a guitar. Hold on. Yeah. So there's something that we'll see in the WAV files when we're playing guitars and we do mutes. Whatever. Oh, jeez. What's this tune to? Someone put this in drop? Who did that? Anyway, didn't know that happened. Regardless, when we record guitars and we do palm mutes, whatever, and you have to make that face when you do palm mutes, by the way, the waveform, given how close the microphone typically is to the cabinet, we get something called proximity effect. Proximity effect is a fancy way of saying that when you have a cardioid capsule close to a sound source, the closer it is to the sound source, the more low-end buildup we're going to get. And so now let's switch. All right, so let's see this in practice. All right, as I mentioned, our guitars are going to be, here's obviously not muting. If you don't know, here is obviously muting. These are the chugs I was talking about, and you can just see, obviously, that they're way louder than the not chugs here. So let's pull up FabFilter. No one will be shocked that this is my solution. Not a FabFilter fanboy. Yes, I am. And let's actually solo the track I'm listening to. Okay, so here's the deal. What you kind of want to do is hone in on the frequency area that we're going to have the proximity effect in. So if we kind of like bypass this band and look just at the frequencies coming in, it's just going to be glaringly obvious. And just the sheer amount of discrepancy we have in volume, particularly in this frequency area, makes it so easy to hone in on this. So I'll just show you how to do it. We're going to make a band where the offensive frequencies are, no brainer, right? Then we're going to turn on with this little side dial here how much dynamic EQ we want. Now this is very different than static EQ. This is EQ that is not going to move until a certain threshold is passed. That threshold is on this slider right here. So the trick of this is, let's say you fired this thing up and your immediate volume, your slider was like here, and you hit play and you're like, well, that's attenuating on, and by attenuating I'm saying making more quiet, when it's not chugging, so that's no good. So we're just gonna bring this up right to the point where it does not attenuate during non-muted parts. And then lo and behold, you've set your threshold perfectly. So you're basically gonna have two volumes with distorted guitars. You're gonna have I'm not muting and I am muting. Now it's gonna be different. You can even see down here, right? Like the amount is different based on the amp, based on the player, all kinds of stuff. But like I said, it just should be a no-brainer to see this stuff. And so I also recommend doing this on each individual channel. I do a lot of EQ on group channels. This is not the moment for that because the differences in our volumes are going to depend, again, on the player, on the guitar, on the tone in general. Like let's jump down to this one here, pull up this version of FabFilter, and you're going to see that this slider is not as low as this slider. The reason for that is I had to put it in a different spot to do this one correctly. But yeah, totally to the same effect. So that's the trick. It's very easy. Bingo bango, just like that. We control those mutes in one fell swoop. My recommendation is though, don't do that on your group bus. Do that to all of your individual tracks because different amps, different mics, whatever was used, the exact amount of like threshold like that you use to kind of cave in those low frequencies when those mutes are being played, that might vary. So don't do this as a group effort. I find it works way better when you just go in, take the extra minute or so and do it to all your individual tracks. And that way you don't have this weird big bloom of low end every time you hit like the mute parts. It'll just like, as you get closer to your final mix, it'll just mess everything up. So yeah, that's it. That's my cool trick for the day. See you next time.